Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live in flame, or go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Over hill, over down, we have hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. Counter march right about, hear those wagon soldiers shout, while those caissons go rolling along. For it's high, high here in the field artillery. Call off your numbers, but it's strong. 2, 3, 4, and where we go, you will always know that those caissons are rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night on shore, anchors away. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Room 10 Hut! You're listening to MilitaryChatRadio.com.
Hey, and good afternoon. How's everybody doing? And this is another edition of the Al Young Show. And today, hey, I have a special person with me. This is for information for all of you veterans out there who go to the VA and you get your claims done. I have a person who is a friend of mine and a person who takes care of business. This is someone who I've always talked about to a lot of people out there. This is Mr. James L. Ferguson, and he is the Department Service Coordinator out at James A. Haley. And if you have a claim that you need to take care of, this is the individual that you need to see. Now, when I send people out there, this is the guy that I always tell them to go see, because I know that he will take care of you. Now, there are other individuals out there, and they really take care of business. But this is sort of like, you know, in the family, your favorite brother or your favorite family member. This is my favorite family member out there. And I send everybody that I can think of to go see him, because I know he'll take care of you. Okay? And right now, I'd like to introduce Mr. James L. Ferguson. And how are you this afternoon, James?
I'm fine, Al. Thank you, and thank you for that gracious introduction.
Well, listen, I'm sure everybody likes to know a little bit about you. So start off by telling us where you hail from and what you've been doing with yourself.
Okay, well, I was born in New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I was raised there. And I joined the Army at age 17. I went in on the delayed entry program. Myself and two of my good friends. We all had we all had brothers that was injured over in Vietnam. So when we came out of high school, we all decided that instead of going to college on football scholarships that we all had, we was going into the military.
You did the buddy program.
Yes, we did the buddy program, all 3 of us. So we all joined and went straight to basic training right out of high school.
So where did you go to? What particular post?
We went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. We all was the Army. We all went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we went to AIT at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Then we wind up over in Vietnam ourselves at the end of Vietnam, over trying to just clean up at the end. But we were there. Then we just continued on from there.
Okay, and so what else did you do after that? You
Okay.
came back and
Yes, I came back. I came back and I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Went to jump school there. I was at the 82nd Airborne Unit, and from there I went to some jungle training in Panama at that time. Then I went to 4th Infantry Division out at Fort Carson, Colorado. Then I got out of the military. I was a Sergeant E5 at that time.
okay.
And I got out of the military. I decided to take advantage of the Montgomery GI Bill. I went to college. And meanwhile, while I was in college, I went and joined the police department here in Tampa. Joined the Tampa Police Department. I was going to college at nighttime. Then I decided I wanted to further a military career, but I didn't want to leave the police department, so I went into the active reserves. And since I was college educated then, I attempted to be an officer, so I became a second lieutenant.
Well, I kind of did the same thing when I first got into the reserves. I was
Yes.
in the police department here in Tampa also,
Mhm.
but I only stayed for a little while.
Okay.
It was a great way to go, but it was
Absolutely.
difficult.
Yes, it was,
Yeah, it was
very,
very
difficult.
difficult.
Demanding. Yes.
hmm
Difficult and demanding. But I always was told the importance of furthering your education.
hmm
So I tried to do the best I could. So my career in the police department and my career in the military was going forward at the same time.
Right.
So I stayed in there. I stayed in the military, got promoted, first lieutenant, then became a captain. And eventually, when I went ahead and retired in the late 90s, I was a major. And I retired from the police department after 2001.
Oh, great. So you retired from police department and you retired from the Army Reserves.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That was really good.
But meanwhile, I have had some injuries where I am a service-connected disabled veteran also.
Okay. So then when you're speaking to vets about their disabilities, you are also a disabled veteran also, so you really know what to talk to them
Absolutely.
about. Mm-hmm. So now how long have you been with the VA now?
For 7 years now. I went to James Haley VA in 2005.
Mm-hmm. And now the other thing that a lot of people don't know is that since you've been there, you haven't just been taking care of people, but you've been taking care of them in an extraordinary way. You've won, what is it now, 5 awards?
Yes, I'm proud to say I won 5 in 7 years. I won 5 awards for being the top hospital service coordinator. And the
Okay.
hospital service coordinator is more than just a service officer that process claims. What a hospital service coordinator is, it involves the transportation network. It involves complaints against hospital personnel by veterans. It's customer service based also. It's numerous different conditions involved there.
Okay, and you've been doing that for, like I said, 7 years, and you've been really taking care of a lot of things. Now, I understand that there's something else that you have been receiving. Didn't you receive another award for not only that, but something else also?
Well, on the police department, or
No, at James's Haley. Didn't you come in #1 for something also?
yes, for recruiting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
want you to leave anything out.
No, for recruiting. I came in numerous times. I get awards for that also.
Because see, you know, while you're sitting here now, there are a couple of things that I remember now. You're selling yourself short.
Yes, but I think it's not just me, but it's like a team effort
Right.
with the hospital staff from the director on down to, departments and, volunteer services, eligibility, all different departments where we work together as a team trying to get these rightful benefits to our veterans.
Well, see, that's the other thing that I think people should realize, that when it comes to James A. Haley, people aren't just sitting around and not doing anything for veterans, that there's a lot of things that are going on. And veterans, we walk in and just say, okay, what do you got for me? And that's it.
Right.
But, there are people like yourself. There are a lot of people out there who's really actively working for them. A lot of guys get kind of ticked off at, well, they're not working fast enough, or they're not doing this or whatever. But there are people out there who are really working very hard and very diligently to get things done for them, and they seem to kind of not overlook that. There are a lot of us who know what's going on, and there's a lot of people who kind of, they may run into a problem here and there, and it kind of turns them off. And then it's kind of, oh, well, whatever. But then I just want to throw that part out. But
Yes.
then I want to get back to the thing that you do best for everyone who walks through your door.
I try to assist each and every person who come in contact with me. I try to ensure them that their claim is going to be submitted as thorough and detailed as possible. When anyone submitting a claim, if it's for service-connected disabilities or non-service-connected pension benefits, if it's a widow submitting for death benefits or surviving spouse benefits or educational benefits, whatever it may be, it's so important that that claim be submitted as thorough and detailed as possible to make sure that it goes through as efficient as possible.
Well, now, this is something I think that maybe we can kind of get clarified right now. A lot of times, I know when it comes down to spouses of veterans,
Yes.
when they come to see you, and it's not the veteran himself or herself, but a spouse, what do they need to do? Do they need to have written permission or whatever to get any information? How does that process work?
Yes, they need to either have like a power of attorney or a form completed by the veteran saying that they are authorized to obtain information concerning that claim. And that's called a third-party power of attorney or third-party release of information form completed.
Okay, then. Because, I know that a lot of times I speak to people and their whole thing is, well, my husband this and my husband that, and I don't know what to do. And a lot of husbands kind of take their time about doing things, or they've gotten kind of, well, they don't want to really make a move. And sometimes the wives or the spouse or whoever it is may want to get things rolling, and they just don't know how to do it.
Yes, but you have to remember under the Privacy Act, under
Well,
HIPAA guidelines, we have to adhere to the privacy of the veteran.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And so when they say that, I tell them, listen, it's your husband's claim,
Yes.
or it's that person's claim, and unless they say it's okay, there's nothing you could do. But I need to kind of let people know so that they can hear it from a source that really knows what's going on.
That's
Because
why-
all I can do is kind of give my opinion.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to have that third-party release of information form on file with Department of Veteran Affairs or with the people that are representing you. So you won't have that problem with the husband of the veteran or the wife of the veteran,
Yes.
whoever it may be.
Well, it's some of these. This is why I'm glad you're here, because
Thank you.
a lot of the things that if we can get them clarified today, we can get some of those questions and answers to folks, because everybody wants to know, what can I do? What can be done? Who do I see? How often can these things be taken care of? How many times can I submit a claim about something if I'm denied?
Yes.
So with you being here to answer some of these questions, that will, for those who get a chance to watch this, they'll get some answers.
Absolutely. If you submit a claim and the claim is denied, whatever issue is denied, and the notice of disagreement is the first level of appeal. From the date that the rating came out, you have a 1-year period to file a notice of disagreement. If you fail to file the notice of disagreement within that period, then you have to ask for the claim to be reopened. And for your claim to be reopened, the Department of Veteran Affairs require you to submit what we call new and material evidence to support the claim. That means the evidence, which is most likely medical records that the VA have not seen already, that's new and material. In other words, new, they haven't seen it before. Material, it has something to do with the condition which you are applying for.
Mm-hmm.
And that is required for that claim to be reopened.
Well, let's say a guy who's been. Let's go to someone who Vietnam era.
Okay.
And they've always said, you know what? I've had a couple of conditions, but I've never really kind of wanted to be bothered. And I've never made any claims, never went to the VA, never did anything. But, these things have been bothering me for quite some time.
Yes.
I think I'll make a claim. How far back can they claim?
Well, it depends on the evidence that you have. If you have not been seen for this condition,
Mm-hmm.
that's the rater who's going to be eventually rating the claim, going to see that you was in the service back in the 70s. You failed to file this claim for this injury now, until now.
Okay.
We're going to look at the link between now and the time that you said that it occurred. And if you never received treatment for this condition, it's going to be very difficult getting it service connected. Now, some conditions are presumptive, like under conditions for all of us who served in Vietnam, which is called Agent Orange exposure. A lot of conditions are covered under that, which may stay dormant in your body and came forward now. You get a diagnosis now, and then you can put in a claim for it. But if, say for instance, you injured your shoulder while you was in Germany or wherever back in 1980, you failed to receive any kind of medical treatment for it until now, 2012, and now you want to put in a claim for it. You have no evidence to show for it. It's going to be very difficult trying to get that service connected.
Okay. Well, see, that's some of the things I think that a lot of people look at.
Yes.
And that they're saying, okay, I wonder if I should make a claim.
Right.
And we have those. And there's a whole lot of people out there who say, well, I don't know if I should make a claim.
Yes.
And these are the kind of things that people
Yes.
need to know. And if they have any idea that, well, I'm thinking about making a claim, well, this is the type of information that they need to know about.
Right. And on something like that, what is required is called a nexus statement. A nexus statement is a statement showing that there is a link between now and years ago when that injury actually occurred.
Now,
A doctor would complete that nexus statement, and that nexus statement you would use as evidence to support your claim.
okay. Now, sometimes I understand a lot of people who have been going to, let's say, personal doctors on the outside for maybe an injury that they may have had while they were on the while they were in service.
Yes.
Would that support them in any way whatsoever?
Yes, it's very important that the veterans get those medical treatment records and submit them as part of that claim. If you cannot get them for some reason, fill out the release of information and submit it to the Department of Veteran Affairs so they can request those records. But if you could possibly get those records, it's always best for you to get a copy of those and submit them yourself. And always keep a copy for your own records.
Okay. Another question that comes up is the length of, I guess it would be retroactive compensation
Yes.
that a person would get when they do file a claim. When does that start?
Normally, it starts on the day that your claim was received at the Department of Veteran Affairs and certified.
Okay. So if a guy was in during Vietnam and let's say he broke his leg,
Yes.
and then here it is 2012 and he finally puts in for a claim, he isn't compensated all the way back to Vietnam.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's compensated to the period where he put that claim in, unless he put that claim in years ago, and it could be proven that there was a clear and unmistakable error on the Department of Veteran Affairs part.
No, I'm talking
But-
about a guy who this is his first time ever putting in
Yes.
a claim, because there's a lot of confusion out there.
Absolutely.
Guys think that, well, you know, hey, I broke my leg in Vietnam, or I broke my leg 10 years ago,
Yes.
and they should make my claim from the time I actually broke my leg until now. And this kind of clarifies that
Yes.
hey, it's from the time you make your claim.
It's the time that your claim is received at the regional office.
Okay.
Yes,
Because there's a lot of people who's very confused about that.
I understand that. Yes.
Okay. So it's just a matter of, you know, whenever you have a claim, you need to make it as soon as possible. You need to be very speedy about doing that.
Yes. Have it submitted as soon as possible and submit it as thorough and detailed as you can. Try to obtain your treatment records and submit all those at one time. If you're married, submit a copy of your marriage certificate. Submit a copy of your birth certificates of your children, Social Security cards.
So when they come to you, then they need to have more than just their basic DD 214
Yes.
and just run down with just that and say, okay, here I am.
Absolutely. If possible, try to bring out everything you can to show that your condition can be and will be determined service connected.
Okay. Because there's always been a lot of confusion about that. The other thing is basically how many people do you think you see within the run of a month?
I see around 700.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's a lot of claims.
That's a lot of people, yes. A lot of claims.
That's got to keep you going.
It does. It does, but it's all different types of claims. One could be just a simple form, just change address. One could be a complete claim starting from day number one. One could be one where the veteran has added his husband or his husband, his wife, or husband, or the newborn child. A dependency claim. One could be a claim asking for educational benefits. One could be a claim asking for individual unemployability.
Right.
One could be, like we said, the the third party release of information form, putting one of those on file.
Now, here's something that I've always kind of wondered about. You mentioned unemployability.
Yes.
Can you explain what that really entails, and what's the difference between getting, what is it, 100%, and then the unemployability aspect of that?
Yes, it's called individual unemployability. Individual unemployability is where the Department of Veteran Affairs will raise your disability to the 100% threshold. If you're rated between 70 and 90%, you can put that in if your service-connected disabilities prevent you from obtaining employment. But if you're awarded the individual unemployability, you cannot work. If you're awarded the individual unemployability, you must be rated between 70 and 90% and must have 1% at least at 40%. And if you're awarded that, you cannot obtain employment. That means that you are disabled to obtain any employment. Now, the other 100% means that as a result of your service connection, you are rated at the threshold of 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If you're rated at 100%, if you could do some type of employment, you're allowed to do that. If your service-connected disabilities allow you. But if you're receiving individual unemployability, you cannot obtain employment because you have shown, you have proven, and the doctors have indicated that you cannot work, and it's the result of your service-connected disabilities.
Okay. Now, that should explain it to a lot of people.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of confusion with that one thing, and a lot of people don't understand what it actually means.
I understand.
All right. Another thing that I think we probably need to get a little bit of a clarification on with Agent Orange.
Yes.
And now that a lot of people seem to be getting claims for that, is that something that they have extended to just the Vietnam era guys? Because that just basically really covers them, right?
Yes. Vietnam veterans,
Mm-hmm.
veterans that was in Vietnam, they have for the Navy personnel, the brown water and blue water,
Mm-hmm.
depends where your ship was, where you were stationed at that time. For pilots, cover them where they flew over Vietnam, of course, on their missions, and covered, certain other areas around Vietnam also. Some areas, Thailand, okay, and some areas are still being looked at by Congress that haven't been completed yet.
Okay. And that was basically so that any of those people who were in those regions,
Yes.
that they could be compensated for Agent Orange.
Yes, conditions under Agent Orange exposure.
All right. Now, are these people compensated all the way back, or is this a condition where they're compensated from the time? I think we went over this, but I just want to make sure, compensated from the time that they put in for their claim, or compensated from the time they go back?
No, it's the time that they put in their claim.
Okay, then.
Once again, when their claim is received,
All right, I just want to make sure.
there would be unless, like a couple of conditions under Agent Orange exposure where we found that I have experience where veterans have put in for claims years ago.
Mm-hmm.
One is a heart condition, which is under Agent Orange exposure, is called ischemic heart disease and Lou Gehrig disease. They have put in for these conditions years ago before these conditions was approved by Congress to be under Agent Orange exposure. Fortunately for them, the conditions, if awarded now, when they're awarded now, a lot of retroactive pay is being given to the veteran for that, because we found out that they are entitled to these benefits.
Okay, and with that, so it just depends on who's putting in for it and what conditions that they do have.
Yes, the diagnosis of having these is the only question there.
Okay. Now, the other thing is people, when they come in, a lot of them have never started collecting any type of benefits. And when I say collecting benefits, or I should say participating in the VA programs to even see doctors or anything.
Yes.
Now, do you recommend that when they first start coming, that they start seeing VA doctors at that particular time?
Yeah, absolutely. If you deserve the benefits, I suggest you take advantage of, seeing the VA physicians, getting yourself enrolled in the VA healthcare programs. It's very, very good program for all of us deserving veterans, and come in to the VA facility, even the VA hospital or a VA clinic. Bring a copy of your military discharge and talk to a eligibility employee and get yourself enrolled. And if you have a condition, please come, to a veteran service officer and get yourself signed up.
Because I've been saying for a long time that the guys that are out there, men and women, that they need to start coming into the VA
Yes,
to be taken care of. Because listen, we all served,
that's right.
and it's one of the benefits of being a veteran.
Absolutely.
Come on in and get taken care of. And so many people seem to just kind of let a lot of things, like water passing under the bridge, they just let it go. And I've been saying this for quite some time. And that's why I'm so glad that you're here, that, to let them know about that.
Yes. Even if the veteran has a undesirable discharge, which is a general under other than honorable conditions, or just a dishonorable discharge, he or she should bring it into my office if they come to James Haley, and we could talk about that, and we can complete paperwork, maybe, get this discharge overturned. But we have to try. We could try, and I invite them to do that.
Now, this is something that I'm not aware of, and this is the first time I'm even hearing about that, because I was always under the impression that once you got a undesirable or general or any other type of bad discharge, that was just it for you. Nobody even wanted to talk to you.
Well, a lot of times when the service person got the general under other than honorable discharge, I don't know about now, but years ago they were told in 6 months this discharge would turn to honorable automatic.
Yes.
We found that not to be true.
Yeah, well, matter of fact, I knew that wasn't true.
So I invite people who get this type of discharge to come into my office. I have the forms that we need to process. And we could speak about that, and hopefully I could guide them to get these discharges turned to general under honorable conditions or honorable discharges.
Okay, well, listen, general under honorable conditions, what does that do for an individual?
I allow you to get VA benefits and allow you to put in a claim for service-connected disability benefits.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out, and I want people to understand that if they get these, then they've got the benefits, or they don't have.
You will not have education benefits with a general discharge.
Okay, but they will have the basic VA benefits.
Absolutely, health care, and putting in for a service-connected disability claim, or possibly the non-service-connected pension, depending on the time that you served.
So, see, this is something that you guys need to know. And if you're listening out there, take heed, because these are the things that you get educated on from the people who can tell you what's out there for you. And this is what we're trying to bring you, is education on what's available to you. And Military Chat Radio does the type of things that you're not going to find every day. And that's why we're here, to help you get educated on the things that are going to do things for you. We all need to be educated on something. And unfortunately, there's been so much of a void out there, you know, and we're trying to fill that gap. Okay, we're trying to get you educated on what you need to do. So I'm glad today that we have Mr. Ferguson here to tell us what we really need to know. And this is going to be an education for me, and I hope an education for you. So anyway, back to asking Mr. Ferguson a few more questions. Well, actually, you know what? Right now, I really think that we should probably give James a break. So we're going to take about 5, and then we'll come back to you. All right? So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
Keep our freedom alive. Salute the flag instead. The freedom we enjoy is held within their hands. Their life is on the line. Their family and their friends, they leave them all behind. They give with all their might. The men and women who serve our shining light. They are warriors. Keep our freedom alive. Salute the flag and stand. Freedom we enjoy is held within their hands. Their life is on the line. The family and their friends, they leave them all behind. They give with all their might. The men and women who serve our shining light. They are warriors. This is a song support the men and women who strive to keep our nation strong. We honor family members who are left behind to carry on. May we never forget the prisoner of war, missing in action and killed in action. God bless our retired veterans, and God bless the USA. Through the struggle and fight to survive, they keep freedom alive. They march into foreign lands with liberty in their hands.
Huh? Okay. Okay, and we're back with Mr. James Ferguson. Hey. And so anyway, we're getting a little crossed here. Okay, and here we are. Okay. I don't know what that was about. I don't know who Angel is. I think we're having a little crossover, don't you? Okay, I guess we're free now. Anyway, so now another question, and I think we were just talking about it, is the pension that you were saying.
Yes.
Okay, explain that to our listeners.
The difference between service-connected disability compensation
Right,
and non-service-connected pension benefits.
right.
Service-connected disability compensation is tax-free. It's for injuries, illnesses which occurred while you was on active duty.
Okay,
Okay. The money is tax-free. The benefits are tax-free. You don't receive a 1099 at the end of the year or W-2. The non-service connected pension benefits are income-based. For you to apply for that,
mm-hmm.
you had to serve during a wartime period.
Right,
You must be totally disabled. And that is similar to the civilians' Social Security benefit,
okay,
but it is offset by Social Security. So if the VA is giving you so much, Social Security is offsetting that, or if Social Security is giving you so much, the VA will offset that. That is reported income. It's not tax-free like non-service.
non-service.
It's not tax-free like service-connected
Right,
benefits. But to apply for that, you must have served during a wartime period, and you must be totally disabled. And if your disabilities are non-service connected, that's when you're able to put in for that.
So that means a lot of people who become 100% with the VA and they were non-service connected, they can get that would be what they would end up getting.
That's what they would get if they served during a wartime period.
Okay. That would be the non-taxed.
No, that is taxed.
That's the ones that's taxed.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the
I'm getting a little
non-service
confused.
connected
Okay.
pension.
And then the one that is not taxed,
That's compensation.
compensation. Okay.
Yes.
So I see how that would work. So I mean, there's all kind of things that people can get,
Right.
and all kind of. Now listen, you know what? The other thing is that what is it? These benefits pamphlet that they give out.
Yes,
Now that explains a whole lot of stuff, also.
absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Okay, because I mean, I've seen them, and I look through them every once in a while. I know I need to get another one, but that has a lot of stuff in it that would help out a lot of individuals too, right?
Right. It's real important that you get one of these pamphlets.
Mhm.
Either come to an office like mine or
Right.
eligibility, or there are several places in the hospital you could get one. Doesn't cost anything. Get one of those and talk to someone who deal with the disability benefits,
Right.
and that will guide you and help you obtain your benefits.
Because I think when people start looking at the percentages and what each percentage that you get does for you,
Yes.
I think it kind of gives them an idea of what they need to be shooting for, or if they can attain that with whatever injuries or illnesses that they have.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Like, say, for instance, if you service connected at 20% or more, and you want to try to go back and get further your education or get some kind of technical training, we have a vocational rehab program that you can apply for if you're 20% service connected or
Mhm.
more. If you get service connected at 30% or more, you will be eligible to put in for a dependency allowance,
Okay.
where you receive additional compensation for your wife or husband and dependent children. So that's added benefits that you would receive.
Okay. And I guess, and if you become like maybe 100 or something, can you put in something for like your mother-in-law or something?
No, you cannot put in for your mother-in-law,
Okay.
but you may get awarded the what we call Chapter 35. That's the educational benefits. Well, your wife and your children can go to school. at
Yeah,
no
because
cost to
a
you.
lot of people seem to who are in that category.
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest benefits that everyone looks at
Absolutely.
is to get their dependents taken care of.
Yes. The veterans should talk to a professional and just seek the assistance of them, just to try to get your information that otherwise they probably will not be able to get. Thanks to you and talk shows such as this will enlighten a lot of veterans to seek information, and you may be pleasantly surprised about
Well, see, that's
coming to other veterans such as you.
Mhm.
All of us are veterans that does this. All of us are disabled veterans that does this.
well, you know what? That's why when you have places like a DAV, American Legion, and
VFW,
right, and all,
AMVETS,
right.
Military Order, Purple Hearts, Marine Corps League. There's numerous of them.
Listen, you know them all, and I've got to learn all of them. But see, when we have all those organizations out there,
Yes.
and they're all doing the same thing, we educate people, and I'm going to try and get all those different organizations here so that they can all talk about what they do for everyone. And if we get everybody together on the same page, which we basically all are, it's just that we're doing it differently.
Yes.
It's
that's
sort of
correct.
like the Army, the Air Force, and the Marine Corps, and the Navy, and the Coast Guard. It's all basically working towards the same goal. It's just different.
Absolutely.
So we got all those different organizations there, but they're all doing the same thing, looking out for veterans and taking care of business. I just think that, when we have all of those guys sending people or trying to take care of people, and then we have someone like you who really, once the veteran comes to you, there's nothing that you can't do for them, I think that's very important. That's why when guys come to the VA, they're looking to be helped. A lot of
Yes.
them, the first time, it's like going out for a job, for that first job that you go for.
Yes.
It's like, it's the biggest thing going on in your life at that time.
Absolutely.
When a guy comes looking for his benefits, or what help can I get from the Veterans Administration, and they're looking for, what am I going to get? What can you do for me? Then they see someone like you, And when they get help, it just makes them feel so good that my country hasn't let me down,
That's right. We always just have to remember when we put that claim in, our regional office is the busiest regional office in the nation. We just have to be patient. It may take quite a while, but once you get your claim in, your claim is in. Just be patient. Just try to be patient and just rest assured that you're dealing with a professional. You have a professional assisting you that will make sure that all your information is being thoroughly looked at and evaluated properly. And just rest assured, and we're gonna just try to help you the best that we can. I just ensure people when they come to my office that I'm doing everything I can. It may seem like you're getting nowhere. You're spinning your wheels. The VA is sending you the same letters over and over again, but everything you receive, send back the reply that's required. Send back and make sure you have a copy to keep for your own records. If you don't have a file for all your VA paperwork, make sure that you start one. Make sure that everything is documented. You have a record of everything. Nothing is less important than anything else.
Well, I have another question for you.
Go
Do
ahead,
you
Al.
have any kind of an idea about how long does the average claim seem to take these days about? Or is that kind of on an individual basis?
The first claim takes around a year now.
Okay.
An appeal may take 2 years.
All right. Because you know what? A lot of people I've spoken to said, well, it seems to take a while. And there's nothing I can ever say to them because I really don't know. So now, at least when they put in, they can kind of gauge how long it's going to take.
Yes.
It's not going to take a matter of 6 months. So at least they know, well, the first time it's going to at least take about a year. So that's something that, need to know.
Yes, the people over there, I really believe, and I know a lot of people over there, they're working very hard. All kind of adverse shifts now are trying to get these claims rated, evaluated, all the evidence evaluated, all the evidence is gathered. That's why it's so important that we do everything that we can to try to get the medical information to them as part of your package. So it's less that they have to go out and research it. But we just have to be patient and just stay the course.
Okay.
They understand that, we have sacrificed and gave part of our lives to serving our country, and freedom is not free. But we just have to just understand that there's so many people are trying to get the same benefits. We just have to just be patient. That's all we could say.
Now, question for you. James A. Haley, is it the largest, polytrauma center in the United States?
Well, it's one of the largest. I can't say it's the largest,
Okay,
but it's one of the largest, yes.
Okay. Because I know, I understand that they're building on now.
Yes, we
for
have.
that.
Yes, indeed. It's steady growing and steady expanding.
Yes, because when you go there now, all you see is construction. I understand in the spinal cord area that.
Yeah, that's the new polytrauma center down by the spinal cord. But there's so many projects going on now. So many things. In the next couple of years, you will see probably a total different medical facility.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this medical center is steady changing. Supervision of Ms. Fogarty, which is our medical center director now. A lot of changes have been originated, have been put in place.
Well, I noticed that a lot of the medical teams like Foxtrot and everything moved from their original areas. Now they've been moved to different areas, but it seems to be the same service. I can't say anything is diminished or anything, but I don't have any problems. I get a big kick out of valet parking. And I've always liked that. It seems to have gotten really good, and those guys work very hard.
Yeah, we
Give them credit.
here at the hospital, they're trying to, make things as comfortable as possible
Yeah.
for all the veterans.
And since they opened up the parking,
That parking garage.
oh
Yeah.
gosh, it has made a big difference.
Yes, yes.
You
Six,
know, the
six
parking-
levels, 1,500 spaces, I believe it is.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Everything has changed a lot, and I can say it's a lot easier these days. It's not as rough as it was, but there's always changes, and you always look forward to things changing. They get better. The staff is just amazing. I've enjoyed it whenever I go out there, and like I say, I still give my hats off to the guys in the valet parking. Those are really a great group of guys. And, I think it's little guys who, and when I say little guys, it's just the people who do little things that nobody pays any attention to. 'Cause-
Absolutely, Al. I know what you mean. And each day, I get up and may not be feeling good, but when I come to my office, some of the patients that I see around there that's trying to get around independently,
yes.
it make me feel a whole lot better because I see how blessed I am.
Yeah, well, you know what? To be frank with you, and I've said this to a lot of guys, you can go to the VA hospital and I can have a really bad day. And when I see some of the guys there and I see what's going on there, I'm always saying, you know what? I don't care how bad I feel. It does kind of lift my spirits because you feel so blessed
That's right.
because you're doing okay, and you just don't want to change places with anyone else. Sometimes.
Absolutely. Make you feel that, how would you act if you was in a situation such as what you see them going through now?
Yeah, but you know one good thing about it though, they're being taken care of.
Absolutely.
They're really being taken care of by a wonderful staff,
Yes, they are.
and the VA is doing all it can for them.
That's
So
right.
that makes you feel good in that sense. But, you look at so many vets, and not just the guys who may be in wheelchairs or anything else, but, you see some guys there who got some age on them.
Yes.
I mean, these guys, are not from Vietnam. They're, prior to that.
Yes.
And you say, golly, this guy had to be from Korea or wherever. And saying, gee, but they're still there,
That's
still
right.
hanging in. And the other thing is you see now, what I didn't see for quite a while, but you see so many females now also.
Yes. That's
A
right.
lot of females. And that just goes to show you how things have changed over the years,
Yes.
and they take care of a lot of people there.
And a
So-
lot of the gentlemen, a lot of the gentlemen now that's been treated there for a while, they come back after the major treatment, and they are volunteers now.
Yes. Oh yeah, and that, that's the funny thing that a lot of people do feel that way. Well, actually, there's a couple of guys from my chapter who volunteer there,
Yes.
and when you go there, there's guys who volunteer in the services. They do other little things, and you feel pretty good about that. And it's great because everybody participates because they feel good about what they're doing.
Absolutely. That's right.
And it's so good to see that people are happy about whatever it is. Now, of course, you always get somebody who's going to complain about something. But I don't care what you do. If they complained about Jesus, they're going to complain about the VA. So it doesn't matter. So when you hear people complaining, you just go, okay, well, you take it with a grain of salt and you go, whatever. But there are those who are going to have valid complaints. And, one good thing about it, I think there are people who listen and they have patient advocacy.
Right. We
They
have an
have
excellent
everything.
we have an excellent patient advocate staff. They could come to me. I'm a veteran advocate. We all work together as a team and try to get these issues worked out. A lot of things are simple as a phone call, or we try to do it as best as we can, as quick as we can.
Well, you know what? I think again that the VA is a great place, and you know, I want to thank you very much for coming out today and explaining what you do
My
and how
honor.
you help people. And I hope everyone got a kick out of listening to you, and they definitely learned something because I learned something. And thank you so much. And I would love for you to come back out again and explain some more things to us.
Well, Al, I'll be more than happy to, and I thank you for having me on your show, and I hope all the veterans that's listening out here, veterans, not just the veterans, but the family members of veterans, the friends of veterans, you know, come to a professional and come to the VA hospital and get your care, get enrolled for care, talk to a professional about getting your disability care, your benefits, everything that's entitled to you. And you know, remember, you know, we all served, and freedom is not free.
And
And,
for
and I thank all of you for serving. We all respect each other. And I want to thank Al and his show for having me.
Thank you very much, James. And for all of you active military guys and girls, listen, you'll be where we all are very soon. So make sure that you take care of business when you get off. And this has been the Al Young Show. And thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good week. And we'll be seeing you next week.